A very good afternoon to you. This is Lunchtime News coming to you live on MTV Sports. I'm Shahin Party. Let's start off with a look at your headlines. MP Nimal Vijay Singh, who surrendered to court, granted bail. Fires got down many reserves due to the prevailing dry weather conditions. 38 more Indian fishermen arrested by Sri Lankan authorities. Israeli Prime Minister says Israel was right to send soldiers into Gaza, while death toll in Gaza exceeds 500. Now for those stories in detail. UPFA Kurunegala District Parliamentarian Nimal Vijay Singh, who surrendered himself in court today over the assault of a Gramaneladari officer, was released on bail today. UPFA Kurunegala District Parliamentarian Nimal Vijay Singh was charged with assaulting the 617 Ambakote Gramaneladari officer HG Sanath Ananda Vimalasiri on Saturday.
The MP who was wanted for an alleged assault of Gramaneladari of Ambakote in Mawatagam police area has been surrendered to the court this morning, and court has granted bail on him at 1,500 cash bail and 100,000 personal bail. The case is coming up in August, and police intend to file charges against him under the offences of penal code. The offences are criminal force, criminal intimidation, assault and obstruction. Mawatagama police is conducting further investigation.
A number of villages in the Madiragiri Divisional Secretariat in Polonnaru have been severely affected by the dry weather. Locals from the Migas Weber, Kadukunavela, Patok Weber, Wadiga Weber, Udaragama, Pal Weber, Palyagodala, Pamburana villages in Madiragiri and Polonnaru are facing difficulty in obtaining drinking water as well as water for other necessities.
We haven't harvested for the past 4 seasons. We are finding it difficult to survive. We don't have water to drink or bathe. No one is reaching out to our villages to help us. What we ask is that someone reach out to us and provide us with our drinking water needs.
Our correspondent said that the Migas Weber, Kadukuna Weber, Palu Weber, Walapana Weber, Patok Weber and Berryvilla tanks have dried out. Locals lament that wells in the area too have dried out.
The wells have dried up and we are forced to travel long distances in order to obtain water, and now we are compelled to purchase water. They transport water in buses to the village close to us. They transport this water through our village. Please direct at least one bus to our village.
The locals point out that despite the divisional secretariat providing drinking water, they are faced with the difficulty in obtaining water for other purposes. The dry weather has also affected cultivations in the area. According to the locals, cattle and other animals have also been affected. Forest fires have been reported from several areas of the country as a result of the prevalent dry weather. The Disaster Management Centre says that the fires are results of suspected acts of arson. The following report details the fires reported from Badulla, Bibila and Monoragala. 4 fires were reported from Haliala, which comes under the purview of the Badulla Divisional Secretariat. Our correspondent in the area said that the Unugolavatta, Dikwallavatta, Ambavakavatta and Mahavattegama reserves have been gutted by the fires. The Disaster Management Centre says that the fires continue to spread, causing destruction to over 100 acres of land. According to our correspondent, the fire which broke out in Kuruvikotakanda in the Bibila Divisional Secretariat last evening continued to spread. He added that a land area of about 25 to 30 acres of land has been destroyed by the fire. Fires were also reported from the Bibila, Doropoda, Nilgala, Puakpale and Arangala reserves this month alone. The fire that was reported from the Ranmitithanna Hills in Hingurukadua, Monoragala at around 8 last night has been contained by this morning. 11 fires were reported from Monoragala during this week. The District Disaster Management Centre says it has identified these fires as acts of arson. It adds that persons are setting forests on fire for personal objectives. The District Disaster Management Centre is of the view that serious issues will arise in the future as a result of setting forests on fire by taking advantage of the prevalent dry weather. The DMC requests the general public to refrain from committing acts of arson and to protect forest reserves, considering it is a responsibility. Also making headlines this afternoon, the Sri Lanka Navy has arrested 38 Indian fishermen for breaching Lankan waters and fishing. Navy spokesperson Commander Kosala Varnakula Surya, speaking in the Newsfirst, said that these Indian fishermen were arrested off the coast of Thalemana and Kankasanture last night.
The Sri Lankan Navy seized 9 fishing vessels belonging to these Indian fishermen. 20 Indian fishermen were arrested along with 4 vessels in the seas of Thalemana, while the rest were arrested in the seas of Kankasanture. Commander Kosala Varnakula Surya said that the fishermen were brought ashore from the respective sea areas and were handed over to the fisheries inspectors. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources Development says that 39 Sri Lankan fishermen continue to remain in Indian custody. The ministry added that 23 fishermen along with 4 boats are being held in Andhra Pradesh state, while another 16 Sri Lankan fishermen are being detained in Karnataka. They have been charged with breaching the Indian maritime boundary. The Department of Fisheries adds that a special program is in place to release these fishermen.
Motorists have been inconvenienced as a result of the incomplete road work at the main roundabout in the Galimbindinaweva town. They add that there is a risk of accidents taking place at night in the absence of night lamps. Although the road in the area had been widened, work on the roundabout has not been completed. Vehicles are finding it difficult to turn at one point as the concrete slabs have been placed in a manner where the road is obstructed.
We have spoken to the RDA and the engineers regarding this. We have already drawn up the circle for the roundabout. After the road expansion, vehicles can move about freely. So we hope to expedite the process.
The event to inaugurate the integration of the state language policy to school education took place last evening at the Sri Lanka Foundation Institute. The event was presided by Vasudevan Anayakkara, the Minister of National Languages and Social Integration. Society in our country is categorized as those who are fluent in English and those who are not. Such categorization has been made on numerous paths. Those who are less fluent receive lesser benefits and less recognition. To break this barrier, we need to learn English. It is a key factor for the revolution for democracy in the country. Democracy means free and equal representation of people. If we are to transform into such a nation, there cannot be a community that does not know English. Therefore, we need to move forward and break the social barriers. Prizes were also presented for the winners of the Western Province Schools Open Debate Competition held under the theme National Unity Through Social Integration. The Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment has taken a decision to bring back all Sri Lankans residing in Libya. The Bureau's Deputy General Manager Mangala Randenia said that the decision was taken considering the security concerns in Libya.
The Honourable Minister of Foreign Employment Promotion and Welfare, having studied the situation and also looking at the report sent by the ambassador in Cairo, so decided to evacuate all the Sri Lankans who are presently employed in Libya because the security situation in Libya, as per the information received from the ambassador, is deteriorating, so that it's not advisable to keep Sri Lankan in Libya in employment places. So the arrangements are being made to get all the Sri Lankans back to their mother country. So there are about 100 Sri Lankans presently, and we successfully evacuated the 14 Sri Lankans who have been kept by force an employer. So we might be able to get within 2-3 weeks' time all the other Sri Lankans also back to the country.
On to more local news, a man had committed suicide after murdering his wife in Gorakadola, Gokarala. According to the police, the man had stabbed his wife with a sharp weapon at around 7 last night before fleeing off to another house and hanging himself. Preliminary investigations state that a dispute among the couple last night may have resulted in the tragedy. The police said that the deceased were the parents of 2 children. And that's a wrap on Lunchtime News. Thank you very much for watching. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Shahin Jurampati.
Hotline 0114